Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to this video tonight where we are going to be discussing a very sensitive topic and something which is extremely close to my heart. Came across a very deep heartening incident today, and I read something very beautiful after coming home from work, because I came home from work quite disturbed. So this is an article written by Buckminster Fuller, who's one of the big individuals of his time. And when someone asked him, what do you think? I'm just reading from his sheet. When someone asked him, what do you think is the greatest challenge that young people face in today's generation when they are trying to take leadership of the world? You know what he replied? He said the biggest trouble that the people of this generation have, in effect, in my own words, is the ability to not accept their own mistake. That's what he said. Guys, this thing is so profound, especially when we try to educate the current generation of all the value system that we are trying to build into them. I believe this stands at the top of the pyramid. Imagine a scenario where children are taught, in all the environments that they live in, they are taught not to make mistakes. How detrimental is that? So making mistakes is one thing which I think all of us should be abundant into. It's okay, we grow only with our mistake. For instance, how do you expect someone to learn a new skill, to master a new skill, if you don't allow that person to make a mistake? I believe this thing is so delicately connected to the current schooling environment that we put our kids into, right? Where we so-called deduct their marks for every wrong answer, for making mistakes while answering their questions. It boils down to as simple as that. And Fuller explains it so beautifully when he says that mistakes are sins only when not admitted. Guys, this is super profound. Listen to it again. Mistakes are sins only when not admitted. And he goes on to say that when you make a mistake, that's when you come closest to God. How do you think it could be demeaning to accept that you have made a mistake? Is it not, guys? So I've always believed that it's fine to make mistakes, make multiple of them, admit them. I believe mistakes is what makes us grow. When I go down the last 12 years of my life, where I've changed and moved from a corporate lawyer to a trader, to a stock trading coach, to a high performance coach, oh my God, that whole trajectory where I have traveled, n number of mistakes, multiple mistakes in first learning how to trade, mistakes in maybe coaching people sometimes, identifying the right approach to coach sometimes, and multiple mistakes at a time. But I can so proudly say now that I am what I am because of the mistakes that I have committed. So it's not small to admit your mistake. It requires a big man or a big woman to admit one's mistake. So never let society hold you wrong. There are so many notions or so many practices in our society in the current generation which do not appreciate you making the mistakes, leave alone admitting the mistakes. The so-called punishments that we have at the small level, at schools, to the bigger level in huge corporations and organizations, they all lead to the same thing, that it's bad to make mistakes. It's scarier to admit mistakes, right? So that's what it is. So think back and, go back to the times when, you made mistakes, made multiple of them, and how have you responded? Were you upfront in coming out to admitting to someone that, hey, I have made a mistake and this is it, and I'll see to it that it doesn't happen next? How does it work for you? Go back and do that. By the way, I have this this is a beautiful thing that I've been reading. I do read it regularly. The thing is, it's called Mystique by R. Buckminster Fuller. Mr. Fuller has some amazing gems on this. I'll keep sharing more of these on more of my videos. But to know more about these smaller little things, I believe it's not those hi-fi things that make a high performer. It is these smaller little nuggets that that separate the extraordinary people from the rest of us. And the key is to learn what it is. The key is to learn what are these simple things that they do, and not once but day in and day out, 365 days a year, which makes them such. So to know more about these, register at malkanhpclass.com. I'm doing a free webinar on high performance. I'll be doing a series of them actually. So register. The first one begins on 5th September, and I'll see you live on 5th September at the webinar. Thank you. Have a good night.